Okay, I am live. Let me get this set up. Hi, everyone. It is Tuesday again. These Tuesdays keep coming around really quick. Just going to add another thing in the comments. There we go. All right. Welcome to Tuesday Chat. If you're new here, every Tuesday morning I get on and just have a chat about art-related things. Okay. Last week we talked wildlife art competitions, and this week I'm going to run through my essential pastel supply list. So I'll just give it a minute and wait for people to get on. I was a minute early. It's now 9 o'clock, and it is raining outside, raining heavy outside. So fingers crossed I don't cut out. So hopefully I'll probably be a bit laggy because I'm streaming again through Zoom into Facebook. So and like I said, it's raining outside. So, and I use Starlink, which is pretty good. What I used to use, I couldn't even think to do a live while it was raining. It just wouldn't work. So anyway, but I'm not going to complain about the rain. I know my fellow Aussies down south around Victoria are struggling, South Australia as well, I think, for rain. So we've been pretty lucky this year, fingers crossed. It's unusual for it to be raining in the middle of winter. Usually it's crisp, cool mornings and a beautiful blue sky. But today, or the last 2 days, it was overcast all day yesterday, and today it is just raining, but we do need it. Hi, Deb. Hope you're doing good. And other exciting news here at the farm, I now have 5 baby sheep, little lambs. The last one was born last night. No, not last night, the night before. So we've got a set of twins and then 3 singles. And at this stage, they're all looking like boys. Not that it really matters. I think I do have one other sheep that may be pregnant, but she's not expecting anytime soon. So yeah, so 5, they're such a fun age when they're little like this, because they get together and they just zoom everywhere. So lots of life and fun for the little lambs. So I don't know if they'd be liking this rain though. All right, good morning, Odette as well. I think Karen's on too. Awesome, everyone's starting to get on now. So today I've just created or updated an old list, but created like put links and all of that to it. So it's my essential soft pastel supply list. So I thought I would run through that. It's essentially for beginners, I suppose. For those in my membership, the Creative Barn, I have also updated it in there underneath the hatchling stage, the fundamentals. Right at the start, you'll see art supply list, and it's in there. So it's similar to what was in there. It's just a bit of a revised version, but I've also got it for people who aren't in the membership to download as well if they want. So I thought I would share that and run through like what I recommend and probably why as well. And then also we've got Soft Pastel Week coming up in 2 weeks, and less than 2 weeks actually. Starts on the 14th of July. So if you want to join me for a week of creating in Soft Pastel, then definitely get onto that. So I've got the link to Soft Pastel Week, and I've also got the link to download the pastel guide that I'm going to show you in the comments here. Okay, so definitely if you're new. The other thing for the members, please do not pay for Soft Pastel Week. it is already included. If you're a member of the Creative Barn, you already have access to that. And you will already see, you guys can go straight into the Facebook group for it without needing to be checked. I've already got that all set up, that when you join, you'll just go straight in. So make sure you join the Facebook group, because that's where it's all going to happen. And you guys who are already members already have a module you'll see inside the Creative Barn membership. So, all right, I think everyone who's on here at the moment are all members. So hopefully you guys have all seen that, and you've joined the Facebook group as well, because the pop-up Facebook group is where all the lives are going to happen. Okay, so but you've got a little while yet. And for you guys in the membership, that the link to that Facebook group is inside our private Facebook group at the top. So you'll see it there. Just go to the features section. Okay. All right. Enough about that. Let me share my screen and I'll show you this pastel supply list. Hold on. Oh my God, it takes me forever for this. That one, there's so many buttons you've got to click to share a screen. Okay. But I do like sharing the screen because it's, I know I'm a visual person and most artists are, so it's better for you to be able to see what I'm talking about, rather than me just sit here and holding them up. So this is the revised, like my pastel supply list. Okay, and it's for soft pastels, not oil pastels. I don't work in those, just soft pastels. Okay, so like I said, anyone in the Creative Barn, you can download this inside the membership hub. But otherwise, if you're new to me, you can just go into the comments and click on the link for this, and it will it'll lead you through the download process. Okay, so essentially, to get started with soft pastels, I know they can be very expensive, but once you're hooked, you'll find you'll keep buying more and more. So what I've tried to cut through a bit of confusion and pretty much just whittled it down to what I use and what I think is essential. But there are, of course, hundreds and thousands of soft pastels out there. But you can build and grow as you get better and better, I suppose. But so to get started, first of all, good quality paper. So I use Clairefontaine Pastel Mat. I do use some sanded papers, but not very often. I'm finding the more I use Pastel Mat, the more I love it and the more it does everything I want it to do. Then I'll go through and show you what these are in more detail in a minute, but we'll just quickly go through this checklist. So Pan Pastel Soft Tools, they're for blending the stick pastels, and also if you have pan pastels, a backing board to tape my pastel paper to, some sticky tape to tape the pastel with. Glassine paper is to rest your hand on it and it stops your pastel from smudging. Tracing paper to transfer that line art across. Stabilo Carbothello pastel pencils and my all-time favorite. Some soft pastel sticks, which are perfect for backgrounds and doing block-ins. And then I pretty much use a knife to sharpen my pencil, and you could get a sanding block as well. Okay, so that's it for what I think is essential. So I'm going to go through now in this PDF guide. You can see these buttons. If you click on them, let's click on, oh no, it's not going to, I'll see if it'll change the screen. Yep. So you guys should be able to see this as well, hopefully. So if you click on it, it takes you to Amazon Australia. And I've made it now that all the links are affiliate links. So what that means is if you purchase, I get a small percentage. It makes no difference to you guys. You're still paying the same price, but Amazon just give me a very, very small percentage. as a thank you to like sending a customer there. Okay. But I've put all the links in that in the guide, just so you can sort of go and have a look and get a better understanding. You can see more pictures, you can see pricing, all of that stuff. Okay. So I just, like I said, I'm kind of visual person. I need to be able to see things. So you can go through and look at this stuff. Wow, that cat's beautiful. Okay, so pastel matte comes, I'll go back to this. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. Actually, what I should do, hold on, just I'm gonna get onto Facebook on my phone because I can't see any comments, which is annoying. So if I can see that way, I can see any comments. Let me just go, turn that down. Okay, I think that, yeah, cool. Okay, so yeah, so as you go through the guide, you'll see all the buttons will take you across to Amazon Australia, that is. Okay, so you can get a better understanding. But pastel matte it's probably the #1 pastel paper in the world, maybe. I might be jumping the gun there, but I would say it's pretty close to everyone's favorite. But it comes in a range of colors. I like to use there you go, it has 14 colors. I buy it as sheets. The link in here is to a pad, so you might prefer to buy just a pad of different colors to start with. I like to buy it by the sheet because I do use a lot of it, and I like to work big and small, and I can cut it to size then. Okay, and I find the sand color is sand and a light gray. The anthracite is pretty good. Anthracite's the darkest it comes in, which is a really dark gray. Just think of colors that are maybe in the photo, like in your reference. That's why I like sand a lot, because a lot of wildlife images have that sort of earthy tones. So, but it's totally up to you, preference. It doesn't really make that much difference, because when we're working in soft pastels, we are totally covering the paper. The only thing I would say is, if you want your colors to stay really bright, I would go a much lighter pastel paper, okay? Especially working in pencil. Not so much sticks, but in pencil, that's why I like the light gray quite a lot if I want the colors bright. Even white I will go to if I really want them to pop. Okay, so that's the pastel paper. Of everything, I think the paper is the most important. So definitely get yourself some pastel matte if you can, okay? And then pan pastel soft tool. So these are the soft tools that you buy for pan pastels, which are a round pan of pastel, which I've got, but I don't really use. But they are great. But what I do use is the soft tool, and that is pastel matte. Some people who first start with pastel matte, especially if they've come from a sanded paper, they don't like pastel matte. Doesn't blend that well to start with, but it actually does blend beautifully once you've got enough pastel down. And but using your fingers, it doesn't really blend. So that's why I use a sponge. So the sponges allow the pastel to blend a lot easier. So essentially I block in with my stick pastel, and then I use that sponge to blend it all together. Okay, so that one's pretty important, and I'll just click on here. I'm hoping this does take, I'm hoping you can see my screen when I do this. But they usually come in a pack like this, which they have 4 different heads shapes. They're quite handy to use all different ones. So for a big block-in, I would use the rectangle head, but for like really fine details, if I wanted to try and block in, say, some fine areas around the eyes or somewhere, I would use that little triangle one. Just let me have a look. Can you affiliate in the US Amazon as well? Not the same way, Karen. I'd have to set up a separate one for the US. And I've ended up, it was just, it's a pain. So no, I've just done it with the Amazon Australia, but I think if you follow my link, it might then ask you if you want to shop in your Amazon, and it should hopefully direct you. It's probably not an affiliate for me, but that doesn't matter. But it should direct you to the same stuff. But I know you've probably got all of this anyway. All right, Cheryl, what color is anthracite? Anthracite's a really, really dark gray. Okay. It's not black, it's really dark gray. If you look, Cheryl, because you're in the membership, if you look at the latest tutorial I've put up of the tiger, watch the first video lesson and you'll see I'm using anthracite, but I paint it black with gouache. Okay, but that'll show you what anthracite looks like compared to black. Like, unfortunately, it doesn't do a black. All right. Yeah, it's a dark charcoal color, very true. I don't know if this is showing you. It's not really, I don't think it's showing you the links. Okay, you're just seeing my page there. Okay, that's all right. When I've been clicking on the links and it takes you through to Amazon, but you guys can do that. I would have to stop sharing and go back in, I think, which is a pain. So I'm not going to do that. All right. So anyway, what I was talking about with the soft pastel tool, you probably have no idea because it didn't take you across to the page. But yeah, the little sponges on the ends of them, you can get different shape soft pastel tools. And a pack, I would recommend buying a pack of the 4 different head shapes because yeah, they can be quite handy. Otherwise, I find I use the rectangle quite a lot. All right. Okay, so a backing board. So this doesn't have to be MDF. I just find MDF is pretty lightweight. It's 2mm or 3mm MDF board. So it's like a hard composite type of board. I don't even know what MDF is made of, but all your hardware shops probably have it. Even just foam board is all right, but foam board, when you tape to it, you rip the card off the foam board and all of that. So MDF, you can keep taping stuff, pull it back off. It's not going to wreck the MDF in any way. But I find myself, I sometimes tape straight to my desk, but I do find what I've now been doing, I have big pieces of MDF that are the same size as my desktop, and I tape to that. That way I can lift them off and put a new one on. So I'm not constantly trying to pull my paintings off when they're half done. So I can just, just take the whole MDF with the painting on, go and put it somewhere, and then put a new one back on top. So I recommend having a few of these boards. So that way you can work on more than one at a time. And the reason for that, pastel matte curls a little bit. It's quite thick. It's quite a thick sort of card is pastel matte, but it does curl a bit. So it's nice to tape it down. Plus I like to, when you pull it off at the end, you got that really crisp, clean like line all the way around where the tape was. So, and then, oh, okay, Deb, you said it did go to the Amazon page. Okay. Oh, cool. All right. Just on my, I'm looking at it on my phone and it didn't seem to change, but that's all right. Okay. Sticky tape, of course. The sticky tape is just your clear, that photo doesn't show it very well, but it's just clear sticky tape. Okay. And all that's for is to tape your pastel paper to your backing board. Now, you could use, I find the masking tape, all those frog tapes that are the different colored tapes, they're not too bad, but I find sticky tape sticks the best. to sanded paper and also pastel matte. And because it's clear, it doesn't throw your eye at all. Like some of those bright colored tapes, like the bright green and yellow and that, sometimes having those colors around your drawing can throw off your color choices a little bit. You know how when you put some colors against another color, it can distort it. So that's why I like to use clear sticky tape, because you don't have any of that problem at all. Okay. All right, so let's keep moving down. Glassine paper. So glassine is oh, okay, I know why. It's all right, sorry, I'm looking at my phone. It's all right, cool. I know why it wasn't showing me, because it's paused. So all right, glassine paper. It's very, very handy. It's not expensive. It's shiny on both sides, unlike baking paper. And I used to say to people you could use baking paper, but one of my students totally ruined her work by doing that. She had baking paper down, and by the end she lifted up and all her work underneath it smudged, so it didn't really work very well. Whereas glassine, I know 100% doesn't smudge your work. So I just get it in a sheet. I cut it down to small, like pieces that I can rest my hand on when I'm working. And then I use the bigger pieces to store my pastel painting. So I put the painting down, then put glassine over the face, and then you can put another pastel painting down, put glassine over the face again, so you can just layer up like that. Okay, so glassine to me is very important. I can't work without a piece of glassine to rest my hand on, or else I end up smudging my work. Tracing paper. Again, tracing paper is to do your line art. So if you're working in realism, then there's every chance you're going to, there's different ways to transfer your sketch, of course. But if you want to work quick and you're working small, then just use tracing paper to trace your reference image. And you don't need many lines, just the outline and a few value changes, you know, position of the eyes, things like that. You need to get them correct if you're working in realism, and tracing a line art is the quickest and easiest way to do it. If you're working a bit bigger, then you could use a grid, but I tend to, in the membership, essentially we only really work in A4 and A3, so I just use the tracing paper for that. Or what you can do another way, if you wanted to create, if you have an iPad and Procreate, you could create your line art on Procreate and then print it directly to tracing paper. Okay, so I quite often will print straight to my tracing paper, but your printer needs to be able to take tracing paper, no problem, but it does save a step sometimes. Okay, so especially if you're in the Creative Bum membership, I give everyone a line art. So normally they would print that out just on normal paper and then have to trace it themselves. But if their printer can handle it, they can print straight to the tracing paper, and it just saves a step. Okay, I will share this link again. We'll go. So probably these two, apart from the paper, so to me the paper is the most important. Then these two, your pastels, are the next, the second most important, aren't they? Of course, because if we don't have pastels, we can't do anything. So these are my all-time favorite, Stabilo Carbothello pastel pencil. They say premium coloring pencil, but then it's got pastel pencil. I don't really know why it says that, but these are pastel pencils. Carbothellos are your pastels. And they come, the set of 60 is the full set. They don't make any other colors. So this is the cheapest way to buy Carbothellos, and Amazon is the cheapest place to get them. Okay, so, and keep an eye on this price. It usually sits around $130. I've seen it at $140. I saw it the other week I shared with everyone it was down to 109. So this is Australian dollars, of course. If you go to most of the actual art shops sell them for closer to $300 for a set. So definitely Amazon is by far the cheapest way to buy them. And yeah, they're my favorite because they're the right, to me, they're the right amount of softness. So all the different pastel brands, they vary from hard to soft. Same with the sticks. But so I find like there's Faber-Castell Pit Pastel and Derwent's. They're both brilliant pastel pencils, but they're a bit harder. And then on the other end, you've got Caran d'Ache pastel pencils, which are really soft. And I find the Carbothellos sit between, and they're perfect, I think, for what I do. So definitely you can buy them singly through other art shops, but they're usually around, don't quote me on this, I think they're usually around $6 or $7 per pencil, maybe. Whereas if you buy them as a set like this, you're not going to use all of them, but it's handy to have them all. You're only paying like $2 a pencil, okay? So definitely the Carbothellos are what I would recommend, definitely, and that's your biggest outlay. And then when we get to sticks, of course, sticks can be a huge outlay when you're paying $10 per stick sometimes if you buy them individually. But you don't have to buy a whole set sort of thing. You can just start off buying a few and work your way up. Okay, so as a starter set, I probably recommend this one. What I look for, first of all, I go with half sticks if I'm going to buy a set, okay, because they last ages and you get twice the amount of colors for the same price essentially. Okay, and a good brand, I love Schminkeys, which they have just bought out a big half stick set, but it's like $300 and something. But Sennelier are another great brand, and again, it goes off the softness. Sennelier and Unison are similar. Unison are great. They do some great half stick sets as well. But I do find both of them can be a little bit scratchy because when you're working on pastel matte, the softer pastels I think work better. They blend better. So that's why I love the Schminkeys for that, because they're just so soft and beautiful. But I do recommend this portrait set is a great starter set. There's also with Unison, there's an Emma Colbert animal set in a half stick. So because I work in wildlife and nature, I'm looking for, so the sticks I use for backgrounds and to block in an under layer of the animal. So I'm looking for, I don't want bright red and bright green and bright blue, things like that, which unfortunately a lot of they do a beginner starter set in a lot, and they're just these really bright colors, which you're probably not going to use. So think more about earthy tones, you know, trees, branches, skies, things like that. So that's why I quite like, I've got this set myself. I've got a few sets of different ones, but this is Sennelier, probably a little bit more affordable maybe than some. They still can be very expensive, but they're a great all-rounder, I think. And this one has some good earth tones, even though it's a portrait set. It's got some good blues, a couple of good greens, some nice earthy browns, things like that. So just when you're looking at a set, think about what you might use it for. What else I got here? So I have this set up here. It's the 80 piece. It's $200. But like I said, to get started, something like this is definitely all you need. So, all right, let me just check comments. Sorry. Okay, you just bought some. Is there a tool on computer that creates lineup from photos? Yeah, Cheryl if you want to create line art from a photo, I find the best ways to trace it because you don't need a lot of lines. You've seen the line art I give everyone. We're just looking at eye placement, maybe nose, and just a bit of an outline. The ones that there's an app, I can't think of the name of it though. Maybe someone else might remember what it's called. It's not color, no. Anyway, if you go into Cheryl, if you go into, because you're in the Creative Bar membership, if you go into our Facebook group and go under guides and look down, there's artist apps, and I've got it in there. There's a link to the app. Hopefully someone might remember it and put it in the comments for others. But it gives you about 1 million lines, and I don't like it. It's too many lines. You just want the bare minimum because you want to avoid confusion, and you're not the lines, it's just a sketch. It's, you don't need all these little details in it. All you need is just making sure things are placed in the right spot. Okay, and then the basic outline. But definitely, no, it's not Procreate, Wendy. It's an app. Yeah, it's an app that, is it Color Space? No, I don't know if it's called Color Space. I'll have to find it. But no, it's in under guides, Cheryl. You can have a look. Okay. Just bought a box from Amazon for 109. Awesome. So was that the Carbothellos? You got it when I did share it. That was the best price ever. Okay, for Deb saying in the US they're 85.70 for 60. So that would probably be, what's 85? It's about, you guys are let me think. We're about 3/4 sort of thing. So that would probably be around that $130 Australian. So that's not a bad price, Deb, for that as well. So all right, but like I was saying, with soft pastel sticks, you can build up. So if you've got a local art shop and you want to just go and buy 1 or 2 sticks, that's fine. And you can do very plain backgrounds. So if you're doing animal portraits, especially pet portraits, the focus is on the animal. So I quite often will do quite a plain background that I only need maybe 2 or 3 colors to do a background. And then I do quite often do a block in under the animal. It's just a lot quicker when you're doing fur. So that's what I use the sticks for, and that's what I use the sponge tool that I mentioned earlier for. Okay, no, there's one more. There's the knife and the sanding block. So you'll see in the picture here, that's the little sanding block. The link only takes you to the knife. You'll just have to look up sanding block, I suppose, even just a bit of sandpaper. But now I've gotten good enough with my knife. I don't need the sanding block at all. So it just takes a little bit of practice with the knife. There are heaps of sharpeners out there. I've tried a lot, but the Carbothello pencils are quite soft, so they do break easily in a sharpener. So just be careful. Okay. And then this as well here, I thought was a really good little, I got it off of Soft Pastels Australia, their soft pastel sort of distributor here, but they had this written out, which I thought was really handy, showing which brands of soft pastel sticks are hard and soft. So you've got your hard pastels, a Conti and New Pastel. If you're using sanded papers, like really sanded papers, the harder sticks are better. But like I said, on pastel mat, I find the softer sticks are better. But having a range is really handy anyway. Then you've got your medium soft, your very soft, your Schminkies. Blue Earth, I have Blue Earth, they're beautiful. Sinellia's in there. Creamy soft pastels, they've got Unison. I suppose it goes hard pastel, medium pastel, creamy soft, then it would go up to very soft. I should have put this in a better way. Your pan pastels are your softest because they're like in a pan. But this range here, the very soft pastels, they're the ones I love right in there. Unison, like I said, is a little bit scratchier. I haven't tried all of these. I've got some Townsend pastels. Unison are great, but I do find they're a little bit scratchy. But yeah, so this very soft pastel range, they're my favorite. The Blue Earth are absolutely beautiful, but they're not very big. And so in saying that, they can be quite expensive because they're not very big, but they're beautiful pastels. Oh, and the Art Spectrum Extra Soft are another great one to mention. They're in a rectangular block. They're quite big. And I suppose if you put them into a stick shape, they'd probably be the same size as the Schminky. But I've got a arid landscape set of Art Spectrum Extra Soft, and it has the best colors in it for Australian for beaches and like sand colors, and the great like olive greens for gum trees and all of that stuff. So that's a really good one as well. Okay, I think that is it. If you do download this and you're totally new to me, you can also, if you click on this, you'll get access to this beginner's guide where I will I go through talking about all the different pastels and everything as well. So pretty much what I'm doing right here. All right, let me stop sharing this. Let's go back. I just need to see everyone, see the Facebook group. There we go, so I can see comments easier again. That's it, Odette. Thanks for that. I thought it was color something. All right, Odette's put down Colorscape is the app that I was saying that does the outlines, but it is way too many lines. Have a look, check it out. But yeah, I'm not a fan at all. But it's there if you want. I don't know of any others. And look, honestly, just tracing is not too bad. Ideally, if you have Procreate and an Apple like pencil and everything, doing your line art on that is a really, really great way, because you can zoom right in to get more detail if you need to see. Because some of our reference images, of course, can be a bit dark and can be hard to see through. You could always pin your reference on your door or have a light pad, things like that if you're going to use tracing paper. But if you have a iPad and Procreate and the pencil, that's even better. I always forget about it. I do have it, but I usually just sit and trace. But yeah, I forget about my iPad all the time. Okay, I need to get into the habit of using that more. All right, before I go, I wanted to talk about as well Soft Pastel Week. So if you look at the top of the comments on this live, you'll see there's the link to that getting started with pastels that I just shared. But there's also a link to Soft Pastel Week, which starts on July the 14th. So every 6 months, I do a coaching week, and this time it's called Soft Pastel Week. We do different things. So last time we did cat eyes in graphite, charcoal, and pastel. This time we're just working in pastel, and we're doing this beautiful reference image I got off Pixabay. So it's copyright free, and it's a gorgeous image of a dog. So we're going to work all week on this dog. So it'll be done over 3 live sessions. And if you join Soft Pastel Week, it costs $7 US to join, so about $10 Australian. But that gives you the forever access to all the recordings. So if you don't get it done during that week, you can do it afterwards anyway. Okay, so this is the dog. We did one last year, I think it was, a similar thing. Might have been a year or 18 months ago. This one here was what we did last time. So it's just an example of what you can end up with. And there were some most amazing dogs getting done. So this is on pastel mat, and so what we go through, like I said, we're doing this one instead this time. So we'll look at backgrounds, the eyes, nose, fur, of course, and creating some depth to the image by having some things like this grass in more focus, the blurry background, all of that sort of stuff. So you're going to learn a huge amount. And if you talk to anyone who did that dog last time, they were all just amazed at how their portraits turned out, especially those that were new to pastel. So, and it's just a lot of fun being able to have that, just work on one and be finished, like have it done in that week. So what we're doing is we'll be having, I'm stepping you through, well, we're actually doing 4 live sessions, because our first live session is showing you how I transfer the line art to the paper and all of that stuff. Then we're going to do the background and block in and get the body sort of done, and then we'll work on the eyes, nose and mouth. And then we'll finish off with all that fur and any little finishing touches. So that's over that whole week. You also have a chance to win a 6-month free membership to the Creative Barn. There's bonuses, because the reason I do these coaching weeks twice a year is because that's when the premium tier of the Creative Barn opens. And so you'll also, if you decide to join the Creative Barn, there's some great bonuses, early bird bonuses and stuff that'll be in there as well. One of those being you get your $7 back as credit to the Creative Barn, so it's cost you nothing. And then also, if you join up, you get all of like the doors are open now, even though we don't start till nearly 2 weeks. But it gives people time to get equipment. So when you first log in, you'll get access to, there's a module on my website that's where you have forever access to that. And then you also get the link to the pop-up Facebook group. And in both of those, you'll find the reference image, the line art, and the equipment list. Okay, so this is all stuff, the equipment list I go through and show color swatches of the pencils and the sticks that I think I'm using. So of course I'm drawing this along with everyone else, so I don't pre-draw anything. So when I make a mistake, you get to see it and also see how I fix it. But I just gone through the reference image and picked colors that I feel I'm going to be using. So don't stress if you don't have exactly the same colors. I would rather you spend your money on getting the right paper, which I'm using pastel mat, than worrying too much about having exactly the right colors. Okay, so I tried to pick also a reference image that didn't need 1,000 colors, but surprisingly, even though the reference is the dog's black and white, we still need a few colors there. Okay. But so you have a choice. If you don't already have pastel pencils or anything, you could buy the whole set of Carbothellos, or you could just buy the colors listed. But if you have Pitt Pastels or Derwent's or any other pastel pencil brand, just color match off the equipment list. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. And then the stick pastels, again, I've just picked ones that I'm going to blend, like that I see in that background. So, yeah, so you'll get that equipment list as well, that you can get your supplies ready. So the sooner you join, it gives you more time to get that sort of put together. And if you've got to order pastel mat online or something like that, you should still get it in time if you get in now. Okay. But like I said, everything's recorded. You'll have access to it forever. So it's fine. Even if you just watch along for now and go with what you have got, And then sometimes I get people do it in colored pencil, or they might just do it in graphite or charcoal, or just they're drawing along with us. And then they can come back to it later once they get their supplies. So it's what, 12 or 14? Sam, I'd have to just let me check. 7 USD to AUD. 10, it's saying here it's $10.50 when you do just a conversion, like on Google. So yeah, it'll be around that $10 to $11, I would think. So but it's very cheap for what you're getting. You're getting a whole week of live sessions. You get the chance to go in the draw to win 6 months free membership to the premium tier of the Creative Barn, which is valued over 200 US. And then it's a lot of fun, and you get all the recordings as well. So the pastel mat I'm working on tells you on this here. So I'm going to work on A4. So we're keeping it small. So this is the size. So this is a A4 bit of paper with the line art. But what I will probably do myself is I'll use a bigger bit of paper. I might even go A3 and just extend the background a little bit so it's not cropped quite as tight. But yeah, pastel mat, I don't know if it comes as, I think you can buy it as A4, but a lot of times the sheet is 70 by 60, and then they sell a half sheet, which is then, what is it, 70 by 50, sorry. A half sheet is 50 by 35, I think, and then a quarter sheet is 25 by 35. So a quarter sheet is probably what you're going to find you'll get easier at most art shops. So that would be ideal. The smallest of, like the quarter sheet, that's the smallest. I think when you buy it in the pads and that, you can get like A4. The only problem with buying A4 is later on, if you want to frame it, sometimes your frame, you can have a little bit of trouble. But A4's all right if you push it right to the edge of the paper. So, but yeah, anyway, okay. I have the large pad in white. White would be fine. Large white. Yeah, so I think the large pad is kind of A3 size maybe. Or it could be the quarter sheet size I was just saying. But white will be fine. We're going to block in throughout anyway. So even though this is white fur, we're going to put a grey down first, and then we'll bring the white in afterwards. So yeah, you could maybe have a bit of the white of the paper, but it doesn't matter, like a white pastel over it would be fine. So yeah, if you've got white, go with white, not a problem. I'm using, what did I put here? I'm using light grey is what I've chosen, but yeah, again, any color will work fine. I know Odette on here will probably use anthracite because that's all she likes to use, and that's a really dark grey, so it really doesn't matter because we do cover the whole paper anyway. All right, okay, so I think that was it for what I wanted to share today. Yep, also throughout Pastel Week, I'll be talking about finding time for your art. I've created a 50-page guide and workbook on that, which that's one of the early bird bonuses as well if you join the Creative Barn. But I'll also put a few worksheets and stuff in the Soft Pastel Week anyway. And also we'll be doing talking about framing and storing your pastel, all of that sort of stuff. So it's getting the drawing done, but I'll be live every day and we'll talk about other things as well, all to do with art, and you can ask me questions, whatever, throughout the whole week. So it's really cool. Oh, you have anthracite as well and some other colors. Yep. So anything is fine. Like I said, I've chosen light grey. but yeah, any is fine. It's, you know, there's, you know, you could use sand, you could use a dark gray, you could use white. It's just, I just don't usually use white just because I always find it's easier to start with the color. But yeah, white would be perfectly okay. I use white on flowers when I want the color to really pop. But because it's the dog, there's no really bright colors other than black and white. So you don't really need to worry about having those colors pop. So anthracite would be fine as well. All right, guys. I think that is it. I think I've answered every question. Just let me quickly go up. Oh, someone else just put, you have a set of 40 Caran d'Ache pencils. Yeah, definitely, Sam. Go through. You might, if you're already joined Soft Pastel Week, download your equipment list. So there might be one or two colors. You might have all of those colors in your 40 set, or you might be missing one or two. But don't stress about it. Just go to the closest thing you have in that set. So say you might, maybe you don't have exactly that blue, go to the closest blue you can find. That's why I always do a color chart so you can sort of color match. Okay, so don't don't go rushing out buying a 60 set or anything like that. If you've got the 40 set, you'll be able to make do with that. Okay. I'm just checking. Oh, someone's birthday. I'm just making sure I haven't missed any questions. All right, cool. Okay, I think I've answered everything. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope that's been helpful for, especially for anyone who's watching this that's a beginner to soft pastels. And I know how confusing it can be when you walk into a shop that does sell soft pastels. There's so many papers to choose from. There's so many like different brands of soft pastel, and yeah, it can be really overwhelming and confusing. So yeah, definitely download that guide, which yeah, you can see when I broke it down, there's not really that much that you need, but yeah, I think they're essential, those things anyway. It's what I use. So all right, guys, thanks a lot, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.